He's been a long supporter of Scouting. He is a Scout. Please join me in welcoming Chris Womack to the stage.
Mike, thank you very much for that wonderful introduction. It would made my mother very proud, and it was just as I wrote it. So hey guys, thank you all for being here today. I mean, it's a Friday afternoon. There are a lot of other things you could be doing, not golf, of course, because it's raining outside, but there are a lot of other things you could be doing. So thank you very much for spending time with us today to express and demonstrate your support for Scouting. I am so honored to be here to speak at the Golden Eagle Luncheon. I mean, this is a tremendous honor. There have been a lot of others. I know my boss, Tom Fanning. I mean, there have been many wonderful, important people that have stood on this stage to give these remarks at the Golden Eagle Luncheon. This is a big deal. And so, again, thank you for being here. But Tracy and others, thank you so very much for honoring me by having me the opportunity to take this stage. I'm also excited to be here on behalf of my colleagues and friends and people who I get to work with on a daily basis at Georgia Power and Southern Company. Both of those companies have been tremendous supporters of Scouting. You know, we have a motto that our founder established for us back in the early 1900s of being a citizen wherever we serve. And through that motto, we strive to make a difference. We strive very hard to make a difference and make our communities better because we live and we work there. Our involvement with the Scouts is driven by that charge to make a difference in our communities because we believe in the impact the Boy Scouts of America is having and can have on the lives of millions and millions of young people. So we want to make sure that we are being good citizens whenever and wherever we can. I mean, as I stand here, I think about one of our former chairmen and CEOs of Southern Company, Alan Franklin. I mean, he was a passionate outdoors person, also very, very smart and very, very driven. And he was committed to the Boy Scouts. And one of his passions was the new headquarters for the Atlanta Area Council that was established in 2004. So Scouting is very, very foundational and very fundamental to our business. And I'd have to tell you, and personally as a young kid, the Boy Scouts left an impression on me in my life, and I'm proud to stand here representing these two great companies, and we've got a couple of tables of my colleagues, so I'm proud to stand here and to applaud the work that we have done. While we admire the great work of this organization, we know that some of us may ask, in this day and time, because of all that's going on and all the controversies and all the things that we have to do, is Scouting still relevant? You know, is Scouting the thing that it once was that we made that was so critical to us? I know for me and my upbringing, is Scouting still relevant? You know, and as I look back over my life and I think about my time growing up in Greenville, Alabama, in South Alabama, starting as a Cub Scout and later as a Boy Scout, I think about the skills I learned. I think about the skills and the character it helped me build. And for me, I know the answer to that question is an unequivocal yes. The relevance and the significance and the meaning of a Scouting, I think, is just as important today as it was in the early 1900s at its founding. Now, little did I know at the time, as I was being a Cub Scout, as I was being a Boy Scout, as I was hanging out with my friends and in my troop, that learning wilderness skills like how to camp, you know, how to hike, how to traverse the terrain, how to follow a map, that what I was really doing was building skills, learning how to be a good teammate, learning about community and building confidence in myself. The Scouts have been one piece of my journey to where I am today, but sincerely I believe the impact it had on me has had just as similar impact on many, many others. The Scout Law guides young men and women to be trustworthy, to be loyal, to be helpful, to be friendly, to be courteous, to be kind, to be obedient, to be cheerful, to be thrifty, to be brave, to be clean, and to be reverent. All similar to the values we ask of our employees at our company to uphold every day. These are values that are critical to this country today to help bridge the political divide and bring people and communities together so we can continue to advance and prosper and be better. At Georgia Power, to best serve our customers, we need to be all of those things in every aspect. Our values at Southern Company and those things that guide us at Southern Company at Georgia Power are safety first, unquestionable trust, superior performance, and total commitment. It is easy to see how the Scott Law and all it stands for aligns with what we stand for as a company, what we expect of our team, what we need more in our communities, and also what we need more in our country. Young people have been exposed to scouting, are building a solid base and a solid foundation to be successful as entrepreneurs, to be good employees in companies, and have careers across a variety of industries all across the world. That's how I know scouting, and that's what I know scouting is about, so much more than just tying a knot. Yeah, tying a knot is very fun, and I still love tying knots today and the survival skills. But it also teaches independence. It provides confidence, and it builds an incredible compassion that you saw in Elliot earlier today. It is shaping the character of the next generation of leaders in our country, and we must, as you fill that card out, we must continue to support scouting in all the ways that we can. I know that the theme today of today's luncheon is every child deserves a chance to be a leader. And you say, what an incredible theme for a luncheon as we talk so much about leadership today. Something we often say at our company is that leadership is not about title. It's not about who's the CEO. It's about leading from wherever you are in your life, big or small, young or old, frontline or CEO. Sometimes the smallest voice or the smallest act of kindness can have the biggest impact or start a movement. John Quincy Adams, our sixth president, said it best. If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. The Scouts are giving our children that opportunity right now, today, as we are living in these incredible times. The past 2 years have been challenging for a lot of us, things that were so unexpected and things that we didn't know what to deal with. I mean, the COVID-19 pandemic has and continues to disrupt our day-to-day lives and has forced us to change so many of our behaviors, challenged us and required us to change our lifestyles, to change our environments, the way we work, the way we live. But it's during these times of adversity that strong leaders shine. They maintain a sense of calmness. They remain flexible. They're adaptable. They provide clear and solid directions. You know, one thing that we know for certain always, it's constant. There's always going to be change. It is happening all around us. But with the support of the Scouts, kids are learning to be resilient and to not be afraid of change, but to embrace it and flourish under a changing environment, to be part of the change and to not shy away from doing the right thing, no matter how unpopular it might be. We are all better because of our children. We're all better because of our grandchildren. Because guess what? They demand us to be better. They put us on a pedestal and challenge us to be part of that shining city on the hill. They elevate us to higher status. They demand that of us because organizations like the Scouts are teaching them that, teaching them what's right, teaching them to persevere and opening them to what's possible. I believe it's really important also as we think about where we are to acknowledge the history of an organization, to understand where it's been, but also where it may be going. The space in between one's beginning and the present is where the growth and the learning happens. It is where we constantly refine who we are, what we stand for, and what difference we are making in the world. The Boy Scouts, formed in 1910, shortly after our company was started in 1902. Since that time, our society, our company, and this organization, we've endured a lot. We've endured wars. We've endured discrimination. We've endured segregation. We've seen economic depression. We've witnessed social unrest, and some of us participated in it. We've seen periods of peace. We've seen periods of abundance and so much more. At one point, many things we did as a country were divided along racial lines, including Scouting. Now, while this organization did not at a national level, it didn't endorse discrimination or segregation, troops across the country struggled for decades with integration. Now, as we have moved through time and we look at where we are in modern times and in present times, you can visit the Boy Scouts website and read about their commitment to diversity, their commitment to equity, and their commitment to inclusion, their commitment to be a shining example of the future and how the world should be. A commitment to promote a culture where each youth, each volunteer, and each employee feels a real true sense of belonging. And that's all we want. We want to belong. And that commitment extends into our neighborhoods, where through Scout Reach, where the Scouts work to build communities, where every person feels respected and values. We're here today because so many within fought for all young people of every race, every ethnicity, and more to have a place. Because of each scout, because of each scout trooper, because of each troop leader willing to open their arms in acceptance and fight for equality, the Boy Scouts of America troops across every state welcome all families of all backgrounds and has instilled the values of Scout Oath and Scout Law in so many more young people, preparing them to make a good ethical and moral choices over their lifetime. In fact, Scouts can earn a Citizenship in Society merit badge, a badge focused on expanding one's understanding of diversity, equity, inclusion, and equitable leadership. The Scouts are very literally encouraging young men and women to learn about this topic that so many adults sometimes struggle with. And they're rewarding them for it. This is how an organization impacts the future. This is how an organization makes a difference, by laying the groundwork in our kids now. The Scouts have been preparing our future leaders to do the right thing for more than a century. And they're focused on developing ethical and inclusive leaders, even as they have had to grow themselves as an overall organization, is something we all should be very extremely proud of. They are leading by example. That is how the Scouts are giving every child a chance to be a leader in this great, diverse country in which we live. That is something that never loses its relevance. For those of you in this room who have stood for equality in your own communities, let me pause to say thank you and don't stop now. We have more work to do. It's more important now than ever that we continue that growth and continue that conversation. I know these conversations are not always easy. And we talk about this inside of our company. How do we get comfortable with having very difficult, uncomfortable conversations? But as long as we have good, strong organizations like the Scouts, leading and embracing how powerful diversity, equity, and inclusion is, we are raising a generation right now that will be equipped to continue the fight, will be full of love for their neighbor, will expect more from their companies, and will demand our communities to be equal. We're giving them the tools to lead our country into the future. As Teddy Roosevelt, our 26th president, said, if we are to be really great people, we must strive in good faith to play a great part in the world. We cannot avoid meeting great issues. All that we can determine for ourselves is whether we shall meet them well or ill. The Scouts founders could have never imagined that the principles and values they hoped to instill in young men and women in 1910 would still be just as important and relevant today. They have truly stood the test of time. So if someone asks you if scouting is relevant, simply ask them of being trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent are still relevant. I think I know the answer to that question. I personally don't think you can go wrong with teaching a child those values. Those traits never go out of style. With that, let me end on simply saying, thank you to each one of you, and thank you to every person in this room that has supported the scouting movement. Thank you from this young Alabama kid who learned so much about himself by being a part of scouting. And thank you as a company leader who sees the product of the Scouts' efforts in actions throughout our communities each and every day. Good companies and good communities need good leaders. I am proud that my story includes scouting, and I am so proud I can help lend my voice in continuing to support scouting in any way that I can. Thank you again for having me today. I look forward to seeing the next 100 years of impact the Boy Scouts of America would have. Thank you very much.